In this unit, we'll be talking about information system security. Information security is a process of protecting data from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, destruction, modification, or disruption. The terms information security, computer security, and information assurance are frequently used interchangeably. These fields are interrelated and share the common goals of protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Heads of state and military commanders have long understood the importance and necessity of protecting information about their military capabilities, number of troops, and troop movements. Such information falling into the hands of the enemy could be disastrous. Governments, military, financial institutions, hospitals, and private businesses amass a great deal of confidential information about their employees, customers, products, research, and financial status. Most of this information is now collected, processed, and stored on electronic computers and transmitted across networks to other computers. Should confidential information about the business's customers or finances or new product line fall into the hands of a competitor, such a breach of security could lead to lost business, lawsuits, or even bankruptcy of the business. Protecting confidential information is a business requirement, and in many cases it is also a legal requirement, and some would say that it is the right thing to do. For the individual, information security has a significant effect on privacy, which is viewed very differently in different cultures. The field of information security has grown and evolved much in recent years. As a career choice, there are many ways of gaining entry into the field. The field offers many areas for specialization, including information systems auditing, business continuity planning, and digital forensics science, to name a few. Basic principles of information security are confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Confidentiality. It is virtually impossible to get a driver's license, rent an apartment, obtain medical care, or take out a loan without disclosing a great deal of very personal information about ourselves, such as our name, address, telephone number, date of birth, social security number, marital status, number of children, mother's maiden name, income, place of employment, medical history, and so on. This is all very personal and private information, yet we are often required to provide such information in order to transact business. We generally take it on faith that the person, business, or institution to whom we disclose such personal information have taken measures to ensure that our information will be protected from unauthorized disclosure, either accidental or intentional, and that our information will only be shared with other people, businesses, or institutions who are authorized to have access to the information and who have a genuine need to know the information. Information that is considered to be confidential in nature must only be accessed, used, copied, or disclosed by persons who have been authorized to access, use, copy, or disclose the information, and then only when there is a genuine need to access, use, copy, or disclose the information. A breach of confidentiality occurs when information that is considered to be confidential in nature has been or may have been accessed, used, copied, or disclosed to or by someone who was not authorized to have access to the information. In information security, integrity means that data cannot be created, changed, or deleted without authorization. It also means that data stored in one part of a database system is in agreement with other related data stored in another part of the database system. For example, a loss of integrity can occur when a database system is not properly shut down before maintenance is performed or the database server suddenly loses electrical power. A loss of integrity occurs when an employee accidentally or with malicious intent deletes important data files. A loss of integrity can occur if a computer virus is released onto the computer. A loss of integrity occurs when an online shopper is able to change the price of the product they are purchasing. The concept of availability means that the information, the computing systems used to process information, and the security controls used to protect the information are all available and functioning correctly when the information is needed. The opposite of availability is denial of service. Access to protected information must be restricted to people who are authorized to access the information. The computer programs, and in many cases the computers that process information, must also be authorized. This requires that mechanisms are in place to control the access to protected information. The sophistication of the access control mechanisms should be in parity with the value of the information being protected. The more sensitive or valuable the information, the stronger the control mechanisms need to be. The foundation on which access control mechanisms are built starts with identification and authentication. Identification is an assertion of who someone is or what something is. If a person makes the statement, "Hello, my name is John Doe," they are making a claim of who they are. However, their claim may or may not be true. Before John Doe can be granted access to protected information, it will be necessary to verify that the person claiming to be John Doe really is John Doe. Authentication is the act of verifying a claim of identity. When John Doe goes into a bank to make a withdrawal, he tells the bank teller he is John Doe, which is a claim of identity. The bank teller asks to see a photo ID, so he hands the teller his driver's license. The bank teller checks the license to make sure it has John Doe printed on it and compares the photograph on the license against the person claiming to be John Doe. If the photo and name match the person, then the teller has authenticated that John Doe is who he claimed to be. There are three different types of information that can be used for authentication: something you know, something you have, and something you are. Examples of something you know include such things as a PIN number, a password, or your mother's maiden name. Examples of something you have include a driver's license or magnetic swipe card. Something you are refers to biometrics. Examples of biometrics include palm prints, fingerprints, voice prints, and retina or eye scans. Strong authentication requires providing information from 2 or 3 different types of authentication information. For example, something you know plus something you have. This is called two-factor authentication. On computer systems in use today, the username is the most common form of identification and the password is the most common form of authentication. Usernames and passwords have served their purpose, but in our modern world they are no longer adequate. Usernames and passwords are slowly being replaced with more sophisticated authentication mechanisms. After a person, program, or computer has successfully been identified and authenticated, then it must be determined what informational resources they are permitted to access and what actions they will be allowed to perform. For example, to run, view, create, delete, or change. This is called authorization. Authorization to access information and other computing services begins with administrative policies and procedures. The policies prescribe what information and computing services can be accessed, by whom, and under what conditions. The access control mechanisms are then configured to enforce these policies. Different computing systems are equipped with different kinds of access control mechanisms. Some may offer a choice of different access control mechanisms. The access control mechanisms a system offers will be based upon one of 3 approaches to access control, or it may be derived from a combination of the 3 approaches. Information security uses cryptography to transform usable information into a form that renders it unusable by anyone other than authorized user. This process is called encryption. Information that has been encrypted, rendered unusable, can be transformed back into its original usable form by an authorized user who possesses the cryptographic key through the process of decryption. Cryptography is used in information security to protect information from unauthorized or accidental disclosure while the information is in transit, either electronically or physically, and while information is in storage.